Major support has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and the Kern High School District. With additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Hey, we are ready once again for a little math in the real world, everyone's favorite part of the show. We got to know where this math stuff actually is used in life. And so we're here, well, gosh, it's a pretty loud place. One of the loudest places I've been, and I'm here with my friend Josh to tell us all about it. Josh, man, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Scott, for being down here today.
Tell us where we are and what the heck your role is, because there's a lot of action going on around here today. And in fact, we even got the safety equipment going on, so we're nice and safe here. But what's going on? Where are we?
So my name is Josh Taylor. I'm a representative for the Southwest Carpenters Union, and we are here today in the Bakersfield Carpenters Training Center, where we have several apprentices learning some form of carpentry.
Right.
Today they're learning stairs and ramps on the carpenter side, and on the interior system side they're doing some basic metal stud framing.
Okay, gotcha. And what's your role here at this facility?
So as a representative, I'm there to make sure that there are opportunities for these apprentices and our other members to be able to go to work, hopefully close to home.
Right, yeah. And we know that there is a bit of a boom in construction, so there's probably a lot of work out there, but they have to know how to do the work right, correct?
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about the training that goes on with these people that are learning. They obviously get a lot of hands-on. We can hear that, we can see that, but there's probably some classroom work as well?
Yeah, so actually we, just like any structure or any building you see out there, like the classroom that these students are in, they have to be built on a solid foundation.
Right.
And that's what this apprenticeship is about, teaching the basics, the fundamentals of safety and production to be able to get out there and help the contractors we work for be profitable and give the community the structures and buildings that it deserves.
Right.
So yes, you see a lot of hands-on opportunities here where these folks are actually taking the tools, wearing their bags, applying what they're learning in the classroom here out on the shop floor.
Right.
Now, as a component, yes, like the students that are watching this show, there is going to be some classroom time where they'll get to see how to read blueprints. They'll do some tests on the lessons that they're learning.
Yeah.
So it is a graded course that they do, and they're actually getting college credit through their training. So it's an earn while you learn type of situation.
Yeah, and they take what they learn in the book, right, and they can apply it right away. Not just the next day or the next week, but literally within a couple minutes, they can get out here and do some things that maybe they've been learning about. That's pretty neat.
So you're seeing them during their one of 4 weeks that they will be in this class throughout the year.
Right.
The majority of the time, they're out on a construction job site, earning a living while they're getting those on-the-job training hours.
Right,
This is
well, I
just
want to see what they're doing. Let's go take a look at one of the things they're working on today, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
So Scott, I'd like to introduce you to one of our instructors who's...
How you doing?
Hey,
Ross.
This is Ross. and
Ross,
he's
nice to
taking
meet
some
you.
time.
Same here. How you doing?
So you get to teach all these guys what's going on, man. There's a lot of noise.
Yes. It's,
And you have some very specific equipment here. What are we looking at here with the project that you're working on?
Yes. What we have here, we have some walls that we have to plumb and line. This is part of the basic stairs program that we have this week.
Right.
So basically, what we do is we start off with some walls and then integrate the stairs to it. But we got to make sure that these walls are nice and plumb to get go.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, what we have here is we have a string line here with a plumb bob that's going to be telling us the vertical direction to give us that plumb. So we also have a level, 6-foot level with the water line here on a bubble showing us the center. That'll give you plumb also.
That's it, yeah. That's a classic way to keep things level. That makes sense.
And also, we want to get a little high tech, then we get out here with the laser, which gives us a digital readout up to the top.
Okay.
So right now, as it said, it's set plumb. It's ready to roll, but what we're
So
gonna,
right now, it's where it needs to be.
Yes.
But what if it wasn't, right? We want to
Yes.
know. We want to be able to see what that looks like.
If it's out of plumb, then what we'll do is, Seth, can you go ahead and crank? We have a turnbuckle down at the bottom, which is right now locking it in position.
Right.
So what this does, this is a form aligner.
Yeah.
It's going to line the walls up. So
Right.
he's going to crank. Go ahead and set it out of plumb. as you can see.
Oh, and the whole wall's shifting, and so is the bubble, and
you
so
can
is
see
the laser, right?
Yes.
And so is the plumb bob. They're all moving because we're not plumb anymore.
Yes. So now, as you see, it changes the size at the top and at the bottom. So that tells us automatically that this is not going to work.
Right.
We need to get it back in line.
Right.
So by cranking back, we come back to plumb, and that gives us a digital readout on the top.
Yeah.
Now we know that we have the plumb on the bubble,
Right.
and also the line that is projecting equal dimension from the face of the wall.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of different ways to check it.
Yes.
Because once the building's up and done,
Yes.
you can't fix it anymore, right?
Drywallers will come in, they get kind of mad.
That's
So
right.
we need to have everything nice.
They want it to be straight. That's it.
Hey Ross, so we've got 3 different instruments telling us the same thing, but they all have different pros and cons. Like, what's something that can go wrong with the plumb bob where you may not want to use that?
Well, the wind factor, if it's really windy outside,
right.
we won't be able to have a correct reading because the wind factor is going to change it.
Yeah.
So that's why we have the level here that's got the bubble, which is a little bit more stiff.
Yeah.
The same thing with the laser. Now, if the battery goes off on that, now we go to the old time with this level right here.
So it's good we have ways to do it, and then we have backups as well.
Exactly.
Hey, we're back with a little math in the real world. Things got a little quiet because some folks are on break, but there's still math to be done. We want to know how we can use some more tools in the carpentry industry to figure out, to make sure things are right the way they should be, right, Josh?
Yes,
what do you got? What are you
absolutely,
going to show us
Scott.
today?
Well, as you heard from the last segment, as we were looking at plumbing and lining a wall, we had different instruments so we could back check ourselves. We want to make sure that in construction, you measure twice and cut once.
There you go.
So the most common tool that all of us carpenters use in the field is a tape measure.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
Beautiful thing about measuring tape is that it will tell you the distance from how far away something is, how close it is. It gives you fractions of a foot or fractions of an inch. The way they graduate these tapes makes it real easy to read. Nice big bold numbers. If you look within the space of 1 inch here, you've got some lines. The biggest line, that's the halfway point.
Right,
You know,
that
that's a
makes
half
sense.
inch. Just
Yeah.
visually, you can just see it.
Okay.
And then you'll see the next largest line, that's half of half. Well, half of half is a quarter.
Right.
Going back to fractions and so on and so forth, down to a 1/16 of an inch.
Okay.
To make sure that it's precise. So as I was learning in school, fractions and decimals, I never thought I would use it in the real world, but it turns out that we use fractions and decimals in the construction industry every single day.
All the time, right?
Absolutely.
Whether you're a mechanic or a carpenter, I've had students in the past say, I want to be a carpenter, but I don't like fractions. I said, well, you might want to change your mind a little bit about that because you're going to use them a lot, right?
That's right. That's
okay.
right.
So what can you do with that thing, right? You can measure the distance, obviously, but there's other things you can do.
We've got a little hook on here that makes it easy. So on this hook, we actually have a hook slot right here that is designed to grab the head of a nail or a screw or something like that.
Okay.
So why don't you give me a number here, somewhere between 0 and 2 feet.
How about 14 inches?
14 inches,
Okay.
okay? So let's treat this 14 inches like the radius on a circle.
Okay.
So we take and we make our mark at 14 inches. Now I'm just gonna hold my pencil on this line.
Right.
And as I pull this and it's hooked to that nail, as I go around, as long as I hold my pencil right on that mark and I'm just pinching the tape and the pencil together,
And it's going right around that slot.
and it's just chasing, the hook slot is just allowing it to stay in that central point. And then as we come around, we should connect up.
And that's a heck of a lot better circle than I can draw freehand on my whiteboard, right?
Oh yeah, I'd end up drawing an egg if I tried to do this. So
Sure.
the thing about math is we just took a straight instrument and made a circle out of it. Well, when we're doing the math on circles, we know that this is the radius. Well, if that's 14 inches, the diameter is twice the radius, so I should have 28 inches. And there I
Right.
am, right at 28 inches.
Sure.
And then if I wanted to know how long this line was, well, if I multiply pi times the diameter, that will give me that measurement all the way around.
Right.
So
and
again,
not having to bend your straight tool all the way around the outside, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, fractions and decimals can do a whole lot for us when
Right.
we're trying to lay out a structure or a building.
Very versatile. Now you made a curved structure here, but most of the things we see are right angles.
Yes,
So
like
how
this-
do you use that to make a right angle?
Yeah, so we're in a classroom here that's got 4 walls, and those are all right angles, and the classrooms that these students that are watching are in classrooms.
And we have a
the same.
square that can make a right angle.
Yeah,
But
we
sometimes
do.
it's not long enough for whatever you're drawing.
Yeah,
right?
this will get me out 16 inches on one side, 2 foot on the other, but what if I needed a slightly larger? We like to use the Pythagorean theorem.
All right,
But we
here we
really
go, a little more
simplify it
math.
here for our carpenters, and we call it the 3-4-5 method.
Okay.
So a squared, b squared, c squared equals c squared, right?
Right.
And that's how you get that. So if I want to make a perfect right triangle here, I'm going to go out and I'm going to make a mark at 3 foot.
Okay.
That's my 3 out of my 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Now, I'm gonna put a nail right there at my mark. So I know that that's a straight line from nail to nail.
Right.
So, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm gonna take and hook this nail, and I'm gonna go out to 4 foot. Now I don't know exactly where square is on
Now,
this.
do we want to do 4 from the right angle or from here?
So actually this will be, so we can do 4 from this corner?
Yeah, go 4 from here, because that would be great to have the right angle right here next to here. We can come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we'll come out to 4 foot here. Now I don't know exactly where that's going to be, so like we did with our circle, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna scribe an arc. Right
Oh,
here.
I see.
Nice
Okay.
and big.
Right.
So I got a big field I can work with.
Sure.
Now my other nail, that was my 4
Yeah.
out of the 3, 4, 5. I go here and I hook this one. So what's my next number, Scott?
5.
So 5.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
5
hold it right
feet.
there and I'm gonna scribe another arc.
And for all you geometry students out here, this is why we do constructions, right? We want to make sure we know exactly where those 2 arcs hit, and that gives you an exact measurement.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
where that intersection is there, and we'll test this out. So Ross, if I could borrow you over here, we're gonna snap out a line.
Look at that. All right.
So let's try this out.
And we've done all the measurements that we need to do. So we're snapping to make sure it's going to look like a triangle.
So here's the test.
Yeah,
Let's use that trusty square.
sure. Look at that, almost like we knew what we were doing or something. I like it.
So
That's
the
a great
cool
way
thing
to do
about
it.
the 3, 4, 5 method is it works with multiple. So
Sure.
if you were to
So you can go 6, 8, 10.
you can go 9,
You can go
12,
9, 12,
15.
yeah.
Yep, and you can just keep going. So however large your building is or however
Right.
large the thing you're trying to lay out is, you can use the 3, 4, 5 or Pythagorean theorem
Oh,
to
man.
go ahead and lay this out. And this is how we start buildings.
So useful. I love how the math comes in here. We talked about pi, we talked about the Pythagorean theorem. I know there's some more math to do in the studio, but we will return at least one more time to make sure we cover some more areas here at the Carpenters Union. Thanks for your time. And guess what? Math continues to happen in the real world, whether we know it or not. And I want to know some more about what the heck is going on here at the Carpenters Union. Ross, tell me what you got now. I know you got some really cool tools around here.
Yes, Scott. Well, we have 2 instruments that you see here on my right. We have a builder's level, and we also had a rotary laser, which in the field, this is one of the money makers for the companies. Once the apprentices learn how to use them really good, it's a profitable margin for the employer.
Okay.
So if you want, we can start off with this one right here, which is the builder's level.
Sure.
This instrument here is going to take 2 individuals to work it. You have one behind the eyepiece and the other one on the instrument down at the bottom to level the mark.
Right.
What we have
So
over
we're
here-
talking about making things level from a distance, right?
Yes.
Not real close like we had before with the walls.
Yes, this instrument
Okay.
can shoot up to 300 feet in a linear
Wow.
direction, so it's...
So are we measuring the levelness like of the ground?
Yes, you can measure from the ground or on the wall to make, let's say, a control mark along the perimeter of the wall.
Okay.
So say you
All
want to
right.
hang a bunch of pictures along the wall.
Yeah,
So
there you go. All
So-
right, good deal. I got you.
Okay, and also here on the digital readout here on the laser, this one here is a single man operation, which also you can set up, and employers like to have this one as a profitable margin also because it
Right.
takes one person.
So this is a classic instrument that you would use, and the other one is, and there's advantages to both, right? This
Yes.
takes 2 people, and the other one takes 1.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so we can't really get a shot of what it looks like with the camera because it's really hard to see. You can see it with your eye, and you look in this side, just kind of like a binoculars or a telescope, right?
Yes,
But how
yes.
does that one work? Because that's a whole bunch of flashing lights and things are spinning, and I'm really curious about how that goes down.
Yes, this one here, we can set it at any given elevation because we're going to have a readout of the digitals.
Okay.
So, say per se that we're here on a lower elevation, and I have my partner right now, Josh, out there on the very top. So once we start this the digital readout going, he's going to position it on the floor, which we're going to achieve a benchmark.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay,
So
so-
we're going to see exactly where it's going to start, right?
Yes.
So he's off in the distance, and there's your partner. He's going to set that up. All right.
Okay.
And what happens? How do we know if things are level here? We're not going to be able to look at it. We're going to be able to hear it. Is that right?
Yes, there is going to be a receiver at the other end that is going to have an audio beep that tells you exactly when it's going to be right on location, especially
Okay.
on the elevation mark.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
as you can hear it right now, Josh is on the other side receiving right now the digital readout.
Right.
And it's locked in right at 0, which is the elevation that we give the apprentice here, 100.00.
Right.
Now,
So that constant tone means you're right where you need to be.
yes.
Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
we're locked in at 0.
Good.
Okay. So now we have a prop back there, and he's going to go ahead and set it on the top of that box.
Right.
And we're going to see the difference of elevation point when we lock it in on the second beat.
Gotcha. Between what we did initially and between where it is now, which is higher, right?
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
We're stepping up.
All right. And if he can get that all lined up, he's got that.
Yes.
He's got that box, and he wants to make sure that we can know the distance and make sure that's level as well, right?
Yes. So as you see now, he popped it up on top of the box. Now he's going to find the locator, Donald, adjusting to the laser.
Right.
So once he hears that audio's locking in at a solid beat, right now it's high.
Yeah.
And
So we're getting close, though. Oh, look at that.
He's right on there.
He's right on. So the one-person part of this happens, we don't even have to be here once it's set up, right? The one-person part happens over there.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about a laser, that because once you set it up, you can walk away from it.
Yeah,
And
right.
between the laser and the builder's level, I think that precision, we'll go with the builder's level.
Yeah.
Fast and economy, we're going to be going with the rotary.
Right, right, no doubt. Wow, the tools here are just amazing what you can do and how you can do it. And the fact that you don't have to even be close to where you're looking from, right? We were talking earlier, before we started talking about this stuff, the fact that you're not always right next to what you're measuring. Like we looked at the wall and we looked at drawing some pictures on the ground. You're not always right next to it. You might have to measure something far away, over some water or over a barrier or over an obstacle. And these tools would allow you to do that, right?
It'll cover distance,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, gosh.
As carpenters, we only work on the ground for the first part of the project, and then
Yeah.
everything else is generally vertical. So whether we're building a lot of bridges and roads that you see going throughout town, being able to determine those vertical elevation differences and distances is not so easily achievable by going there in person. Sometimes you need an instrument like this to get those marks.
Right, no, that totally makes sense. And whatever instruments we can use, we certainly like our eyes and our ears to use to observe the world around us, but we know they are not exact, right? And
Yes.
they can be deceived sometimes, so we have to have some information to back us up. And heck, even some math in there, some numbers and whatever. Guys, I really appreciate your
Thank you,
time
Scott.
today.
Thank you, sir.
Really, really grateful for the things that I've learned and all of us have learned. And look, just for the Carpenters Union, it's so appropriate, right? We have the Do the Math tile. Heck, we can maybe even get some of these guys to install it here for you, but that's our parting gift. We really do appreciate you taking the time to explain some things. I learned a lot today.